Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 229 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. I want to talk about puberty. I've been through it. I came out the other side. I am a man, barely, but I am a man, as I assume many of you have as well, or you're a woman or a babe. But my puberty specifically, the first 3 years of my puberty, I thought I was the only one capable of getting an erection. I really believed that superpower was unique to me and me only. That's how in my world I've always been. And it was until last night that I thought every boy thought he was only capable of getting an erection until later on in puberty or teenage years. Let me set the scene. Last night, I'm at the back table in the comedy room. And that's right, if you don't know, the Comedy Cellar's not the only comedy club that has a back table where only comics are allowed. Every bar, every comedy club that does stand-up, there's a back table where comics talk. And last night, I was at one of these tables, after doing stand-up. I'm talking with a couple of guys who are also comics because we're at the comic table, right? That all makes sense. And I asked one of them, Dylan, I go, hey, Dylan, when you were a boy and you started getting boners, how long did it take you to realize other boys also get an erection? And he gave me a look. A befuddled look. I don't know how to make that look. Maybe it was a look when I admitted that I didn't know other boys got it, but he gave me that look. Like, what are you talking about, B-Man? Oh, are you fucking with me right now? And I wasn't. And then he said, after I explained, well, I thought I was the only boy. I thought every other boy was flaccid. They stayed soft the whole time. And I thought the getting erect was my superpower. I thought that's made me unique. And he started laughing hysterically. I go, are you doing a bit with me right now? Is this a comedy bit? I go, no, it's true. I think I got an erection for the first time that I remember in 4th grade. And it wasn't until 6th grade that I learned that all the other boys get erections. Let me tell you how. My friend, we were playing tackle football in my friend Morris, his backyard. We used to play football in the fall, and my friend Brian, he tackled me, and somehow, you 6th graders, boys, puberty, somehow we start talking about our penises, and then somehow my friend Brian talked about getting a hard-on, a boner, an erection, a stiffy. I'm not sure what slang term he used for his erection, but he said he got one. And I had this realization in the moment as he said it, kind of a aha moment. I go, wait, Brian, you get one of those too? And Brian, I'll never forget it. I don't know the exact words, but he looked at me and go, wait. And his name, we were both named Brian. So like, Brian, you thought you were the only ones to get like a boner, a stiffy, and he started hysterically laughing at me. He was, dude, Brian, we all get boners. That's not just you. All of us get boners. And then all the guys we were playing football with, all 6th and 7th graders going, yeah, we get those too. You didn't know that? So apparently this was common knowledge back then as well that I was unaware of, because when I got a boner for the first time, I didn't tell anybody. Which now looking back is very, very peculiar and odd that I didn't tell anybody. Obviously now, as a distinguished man, past puberty, in my 40s, when I get an erection, usually I keep that to myself. I don't tell people near me, in my vicinity, that, hey, he's up right now. Mr. Perfect, he's ready to go. He's got a stiffy. I keep that information to myself. But when you're going through puberty, when you're, I don't know, let's say you're 10 or 11, 9, maybe 8, if you're going through puberty early, you would think, or at least I think, that when you get a boner for the first time, your thought was, oh, wow, what is that? And then the second thing you would do is go tell your mom and dad. You go, hey, I got this, my penis, my pee-pees. It's hard. It's up. What is that? But I didn't do that. I kept that information to myself and assumed I was the only one. And I'm the youngest of 5. I have an older brother. I have a dad. I had a whole family. I wasn't living in an orphanage. Like, I had a family. So like, now looking back, I don't know why I didn't tell my dad or my mom or my brother. Like, what is this? Do you get one of these? Because that's a big thing, a boner. Like, I don't remember the first boner I got. I do remember the first time I masturbated, and it did take me 2 weeks to realize that gooey stuff that comes out, like, that's cum. That's the end of the masturbation session when that gooey stuff, the semen comes out. The first 2 weeks, that gooey would come out and then it would stop feeling good when I was humping my mattress. Because it took me a few years also to learn to use my hand and not to hump my mattress for masturbating. So, but the first 2 weeks in 4th grade, I would hump my mattress, I would come, all that wet stuff would come out, gooey stuff, and it would stop feeling good, because you come, so that magic feeling is gone. But it took me 2 weeks to realize, oh, when that gooey stuff comes out, like that's over. That's when you stop humping. Until those first 2 weeks, I would get that gooey feeling, and then I would continue to try to hump to get that feeling back, but it wouldn't come back. That masturbation feeling, that fucking the mattress feeling. So I would tell myself as a 4th grader, tomorrow night, when I hump my mattress underneath this electric blanket, and I had an electric blanket because I had 2 parents who cared about me and they loved me and they didn't want me to freeze in the wintertime. I would come back the next evening and tell myself, wait, once that gooey stuff comes out, keep going. Keep getting that good feeling. And I did that for 2 weeks till I gave in and realized, oh, once you bust a nut, the feeling is gone, and you got to wait at least an hour or so before, you get that friction again. So, but it's odd to me looking back now as a distinguished, established man, upstanding citizen, that I got an erection for the first time, and I didn't tell anybody. That's very odd to me. Did you tell? Down in the comments, let me know. When you got a boner for the first time, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, if you're freaky like that, kinky, an early starter, did you tell anybody? And if so, who did you tell? And if you remember, what was the response of the person you told? I really want to know. Because I was asking my friend Dylan last night, and I told him all about this, what I just told you. And he was laughing his ass off, thinking I was making it up. I really wasn't. This is the B-Man's life before I became the B-Man. But this was B-Man's life before I was the B-Man, thinking I was the only one who got an erection. And then I asked him, well, how long did it take you to realize you weren't the only one to get an erection? And he told me, I believe he told me, not exactly in his words, but he said, I just assumed every boy got an erection, at that age during puberty while I was going through it. I just assumed all the boys in my class were getting it at the same. I didn't talk to them about it, but I just assumed they were all getting ones. And then a couple other comics came by, and then I posed the same question to the other comics, the male comics that is, and I go, hey, when you got an erection during puberty for the first time, how long before you knew other boys got an erection as well in your class going through puberty? And they all said the same thing. Well, I didn't ask the other boys in my class. I just assumed we were all getting an erection. So clearly, I'm in the minority. I am a narcissist. Even during the early stages of puberty, my narcissism was showing through by thinking I was the only one to get a boner. And really, my life hasn't been the same since. That's an awesome time period. Thinking back about it, I know most of you probably didn't think this way because you're not a narcissist, but little B-Man, Just think about that. There was a 3-year period from 4th through 6th grade where I thought I was the only boy getting an erection. That's a superpower. That was a little secret I had. I didn't tell anybody about it either. I was getting these erections. I was humping my mattress for masturbation on the top bunk because I shared a bunk bed with my brother who was 10 years older than me, and still is. But for 3 years, I was going to school each day, getting ripping boners left and right, all day, all night long, humping my mattress at night. I've always been a night masturbator. And I thought I was the only boy doing this in my class. And I didn't tell anybody. That's, now that I look back on it, that's some batshit crazy thinking right there. Like, I make fun of a lot of babes for being batshit crazy, but there might be nothing more batshit crazy than thinking you're the only one to get a boner. Again, though, I was a boy. And I was kind of shy and quiet back then, if you can believe it. And I really was. So I wasn't like talking about my private parts, even to my best friends. I wasn't in the neighborhood. So my friend Brian ruined it for me. I was living in this imaginary world where I was playing football, with all my friends in the neighborhood. And I thought I was the only one who had a real dick. I thought I was the only one who had a dick that could get hard and can hawk a dick loogie. I honestly thought I was the only boy in town doing that. Damn. What a, that's some Genghis Khan thinking right there. That's some Napoleon thinking right there, right? Damn. And I'm not even making this up either. There was a 3-year period where I honestly thought I was the only one who could take my dick from down there, up there, stroke it, shoot out some gooey stuff. And then one day, someone, similar to learning about Santa Claus, somebody pops the bubble and your childhood is ruined. For me, it was not learning about Santa. It was learning about there being nothing unique about my penis. That we're all able to, get hard and reproduce and have good feelings with them. To be a child, puberty, really, really, really messes with your head. Really does. All right, moving forward. This next one comes from the subreddit protest. iPro Rex for protest, ? What's some good iPro goggles that would hold up being shot by rubber bullets? BBS protests have been getting intense near me, and I want to keep my eyes protected. Ha ha. Any help would be appreciated. A smiley face. That's a very odd placement of ha ha. Getting shot in the face by a protester or a police member shooting you in the face. I wouldn't place a ha ha at the end of that statement. But that's just me. I'm just a guy who went 3 years as a child, early puberty, thinking I was the only one who had the capability of getting an erection. So maybe where I think ha ha should be placed and it should not be placed, maybe I'm not the one to be telling you where to put your ha-ha, LOL, laugh out loud. All right, on to your protest. I like where your mind is at. You're going to a protest for action. You're going to a protest for a fight. I like that. Now, I have to get this preamble out of the way. I am not, all of us here at Verbal Graffiti, we are not pro violence, pro-fighting at a protest. And the reason why I say that is because if I say I'm pro-violent protest uprising, YouTube might cancel my channel and take me off of YouTube. So that's why I'm not advocating for violence at a protest. But if YouTube was not to have those standard procedures, maybe I'd say otherwise. Wink and a nod. I think you know what I'm saying at. But I like where your mind is at. Right? You want to be prepared for the violence that can potentially happen at the protest you're going to be at. I like that. I like that. Now, overall, it's not that I'm anti-protest. It's that I don't think protests are effective work. I don't think anything becomes because of a protest, especially of a bygone era. And when I say bygone era, I mean, let's say civil rights movement. The protests were long gone are the protests where you get a sign, piece of cardboard, magic marker, you write a message, a phrase, you go out in public and you hold it up and you chant and you cheer for an afternoon. Those are the protests of a bygone era, the civil rights movement. The only people who still believe in going to a protest and all you do there is have a sign with a magic marker and you hold it up are the old hags who listen and get their news from CNN and listen to every word that Rachel Maddow tells them. That's gone. That protest, the effectiveness of those protests are no longer. That's why I don't go to protest. I don't believe they're effective, even the violent ones. To be honest with you, I'm a bit selfish, right? As I admitted in the opening, I'm a narcissist. I work Monday through Friday. The last thing I want to do on a Saturday afternoon when I'm not working is go to a protest with a bunch of babes who shave their armpits or don't shave their armpits. Sorry very much. No, I'm not doing that. There's football on Saturday afternoon. I'm not going to waste my Saturday afternoon going to a protest with a bunch of babes that don't shave their armpits. There's college football on, and I want to watch that. And I care more about college football than I care about whatever it is you're protesting against or for. Sorry. Mid-September? And then once it gets to springtime, the Yankees are on. And that's my stance, right? My free time, I don't want to spend with a bunch of Elmo-haired, rainbow-colored hair, people who don't believe in taking showers. Set off an explosive. You don't need to go to a protest. Right? And I'm not advocating for explosives. I'm just saying protests don't work. And I don't like wasting my days off on things that don't work and don't get things accomplished. And so you're not going to see the B-man at a protest. But for you, I do like where your head is at. And again, I don't have experience with protests, but I do watch a lot of sports. I'm a bro. And whenever a team wins a championship or a big divisional game, or whenever they win a big game at the end of the season, I'll see teams go into their locker room or their clubhouse, and all the players will have champagne and beer, and they'll be spraying it on each other, and all the players will have ski goggles on. I guess the ski goggles are good at preventing, champagne and beer and liquids from getting in the eye. So that would be my answer. That's my answer to you, is to get an expensive pair of ski goggles that protects most of your face. And I'm not positive, but I'm guessing that might, make the rubber bullets bounce off of the goggles so it doesn't make you blind, like the kid from A Christmas Story with the BB gun. Honestly, though, I would. What my rebuttal to you is, it seems like you're playing defense. That part I don't like. Play offense. If you're gonna go to a protest, it seems like you're going to the protest expecting to get shot at by rubber bullets or smoke weapons or whatever. Why are you not going to the protest with the intent of the one doing the shooting, of the ones throwing the smoke bombs, of the ones inflicting the pain on the opponent. See, don't just get the goggles. I say get the goggles, but buy ammo, get your pistol permit, go on the dark web, get the tactical gear. Make sure you have somebody with an arm who can throw a smoke bomb 30 yards. Buy a bunch of rubber bullets. Buy some booby traps. Buy some shells. Right, some drones. Go on the dark web. Recruit 300 radicals that have the same radical beliefs that you have, and come to a protest. Correct. Being the ones to inflict the violence, to inflict your willpower on the opponent, whoever the opponent may be, to whatever belief it is you have that you're fighting for. Right? Go there on the offensive. Be the leader of your protest group, whatever it may be. No, don't go just with the goggles. Like, if you're going to be getting shot with rubber bullets, why don't you shoot them back? Right? And whenever I see a protest and the police, they got the shields, they're walking close, they're throwing smoke bombs. And whenever you see the guy, you don't see him, but you see the person, but you don't see his face because he always has a bandana and a helmet on. But he'll pick up the smoke bomb and throw it back at the police or at the shield. I go, okay, that's a guy who's willing to fight. Now, yes, he should go to prison forever, whatever the sentence is in whatever state or district he's in. But he's fighting back. Good for him. That's where I want you to be. You ever think about January 6th? Remember all those the Trumpers, the MAGA, they went into the White House, or was it whatever, the Congress building, and they walked around and they kind of took it over, and they climbed over January 6th. There's got to be some protesters out there who are a bit jealous of the people on January 6th. Why didn't we do that? Why didn't we think to just take over Congress and the White House? If the MAGA people could do it, why didn't we do it? We're the professional protesters. We're, Antifa. We're the lefties. We're the whatever we are. Now, if you go and take over Congress, the building that it is, you're kind of playing copycat to the MAGA people. So there are some people who oppose MAGA who are probably jealous. Why didn't we think of doing that first? We're attacking some, state, police department. We could have gone to D.C., to the White House. Again, not advocating for any of this. But there's got to be some protesters out there who have different viewpoints than MAGA who think, damn, I didn't know you could do that. Why didn't we do that? Huh? I mean, the British burnt down the White House in the War of 1812. So there is a rich history of buildings being taken over by opponents. I'm again, not advocating for any of this, because YouTube will take me down. That's why I can't advocate for any of this. But I like where you're going. I like where you're going. Again, you can't go to a protest with a cardboard sign anymore. You got to come with protective gear and willing a mosh pit. You got to be expecting a mosh pit and come correct. Let's go look at something. I was conversing with this bartender, babe. She has jagged teeth, jarring. And in that moment, when I noticed she had jagged teeth, that we're not equal. Boys and girls, we ain't the same. A guy, you can have crooked teeth. You can have gaps between your front teeth. I did as a puberty aged B-man. I had braces. I had Invisalign. I'm obsessed with my teeth, as you should be as well. But as a guy, you can get by having a haywire tooth that just goes a different direction than all the other ones. A babe, you cannot. A babe with jagged teeth is a babe you should not spend a long period of time with. Right? No longer than an afternoon with a babe with jagged teeth. That's somebody you have a good time, a quick time, then you get out. And you don't talk to her ever again. And it's all her fault because she has jagged teeth. Jagged teeth. You know, a babe's teeth says a lot about her. A babe with crooked teeth is a babe that has a father with no love for her. Or maybe no father at all. That's a telltale sign. I looked at, it's funny because this bartender, she has nice jigglers, but she's also overweight. And she'll also wear like tight tops, which I believe is so she'll get a tip and more tips from the bar patrons. But she always has her belly out. And that always annoys me. Not specifically to her, the bartender, but a lot of fatties out there with muffin tops. For some reason, babes with muffin tops, but that also have boobs, jigglers, like to wear tight crop tops that show their muffin top belly. Very odd to me that those go together. It seems to be a trend. It's bothersome to me because if I was overweight, if I had a belly, even if I had bodacious jigglers, I would do everything within my power to hide my belly. I would not be exposing it to the world, to all of us Johns out there. But for some reason, these fatties plus jigglers show their muffin top wearing a tight t-shirt that doesn't, go all the way down to their pants or skirt or yoga pants or whatever it is they're wearing. That's a trend. We'll get to that. But that's what this babe was wearing when she was bartending the other night. And she was smiling, and I was making her laugh a little bit, and I saw the jagged teeth, and it was just gave me the heebie-jeebies. That's something you should get taken care of. Spend money on your teeth. It's such a telltale sign. A babe that has crooked teeth, that's a babe that day drinks, but doesn't stop once the sun goes down. She drinks till she passes out. That's a girl with an addiction problem. That's a girl, that's a babe who, if she has kids, the father probably isn't around, much like her own father when she was younger. That's a babe. She doesn't keep friendships long. There's drama in her life, and she's the cause of it. And so are her teeth, might be the cause of the cause. It's just something about crooked teeth on a babe that they just don't go together. The crooked teeth and a lady? How can you be a lady with crooked teeth? Now, that's somebody who... That's somebody their pubic hair is all messy. Maybe she shaves it, but she doesn't wax it. That's a lady who doesn't have acrylic nails. See, I could go on and on and on, but that's not a well put together lady. A babe with crooked teeth. That's somebody who, how can you get a blowjob from a lady with crooked teeth? How can you do, even if she's not trying to bite you, her teeth are going in all different directions. So one might accidentally puncture your penis. There's no way in the world I would ever let a babe with crooked teeth give me oral sex. Because yes, she could be in control of most of her teeth, but there's some tooth that she has no control or even whereabouts of where that tooth is and what it's doing. And I'm not going to let that anywhere near the vicinity of Mr. Perfect, my penis. But enough of that. Let's move on. Move forward. Great bartender, though. Great bartender. Teeth. All right. This comes from the subreddit Reduction. We're talking about boob reduction here. I'll put the two photos, the before and the after, for all of you to see and mourn. 0 days post up right now, feeling really good physically and mentally, heart emoji. I sincerely hope my face says it all. The expression on my face, because I have no words. This is a tragedy. This is worse than anything that's going on in Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, the Congo. I don't know, Yemen. This is a mortal sin. The surgeon who did this should be executed, public square. That God, the Holy Spirit gives you the perfect pair of jigglers. And this is how you repay him? By having surgery to remove what God gave you? Look at her. Pre-surgery. She's literally a Hailey Rose doppelganger. She looks like Hailey Rose. They're almost identical. If you told me they were sisters, I'd believe you. And now she's nothing. Barely a woman. Wasted a perfect body. For what? Because you have some back pain? Because bras don't fit you? Because guys, Johns like myself, gawk at you? The people today are so selfish. I'm at a loss for. Can you imagine dating the girl on the right? And I'm not going to call her a woman anymore. Once you take those out, you are no longer a woman. Barely a girl. Imagine dating her. All right, you go on a date, maybe 2 dates, maybe a couple months, whatever. All right, but it goes well. You start, making love with each other. You think you see some scars, some scar tissue, some lines, or what's that all about? You don't know about her past. You don't know who she was when she was a woman, when she was bodacious, when her jigglers made everybody jealous. Every girl wanted to be her. Every guy wanted to be in between them. He had no. He didn't know her. He didn't know her past. And they're having sex. They're making love. He's in love with her. But then somehow there's photos on her Instagram, or maybe a friend comes by, and somehow the boyfriend of the girl sees the photos on the left of what his girlfriend used to be, a real woman, a goddess, a perfect God made with God's hands, bodacious jigglers. He sees photos on the left. If that were me, I wouldn't smile ever again. I'm not saying I'd break up with her, but I probably would. I gotta be honest with you, to be a man. I'm okay if you don't have bodacious jigglers, but if you have the big ones and you cut them off, and then I meet you post surgery, so I never got to play with the big ones, the handfuls, the ones that it takes one boob, two of my hands to hold one up. I never got to experience that. I'm sorry, I got to walk away. Tell me I'm conceited. Tell me I'm a bad person. But in my heart of hearts and in the palms of my hands, I never got to feel who you really are. A woman with the figure to go with a woman. I guess this is what losing a child feels like. I don't have any children of my own. but when parents lose their children, children die, they say there's an emptiness that never goes away. I feel that emptiness right now, and I don't even know her. In fact, this is what I'm going to do. I have some candles. We're gonna make a vigil for Hailey Rose's boobs that are no more, right here on Verbal Graffiti. All right, I got some candles. I don't smoke cigarettes, so I don't have a real lighter. So we're just gonna make a little vigil right here for what once was a great body, a perfect body, a perfect 10. I have a third one. I just want to make sure the candles worked. Please, let's have a moment of silence for these jigglers that are no more. My life will never be the same. I honestly, I I can't understand how she can smile after this surgery, cosmetic surgery. Once there's no, all hope is lost. How can you see these pictures and have hope for the future? I can't. The B man, my flame is gone. Go suck a fat one.